This movie.
All right.
We'll never get it.
Somebody had
right.
my back there. Somebody had my back.
I was waiting. I wanted to give.
Oh yeah.
I wanted you guys to respond. I wanted to give Reese a chance.
Yeah. We were in turns.
I'm always the guy. I'm always kind of jumping the gun too sometimes. So I want to be careful this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to the Fuck This Movie.
Yeah, it's a podcast where we fuck movies.
Whoa.
Just talking about movies about fucking.
Movies about fucking.
Yeah.
Is this a porn podcast?
Porn review podcast by three guys.
That's that'd be the most awkward thing in the world. That would be awful.
So
we're not doing that.
So welcome everybody.
Welcome.
So to my left we have the Criterion Collector.
Whoa.
The window repairman.
You got upgraded.
This man has as
up.
much fashion sense as Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada.
Whoa.
If you're talking in like a wife beater and chain kind of way.
Did she wear a wife beater in that?
No, I'm saying you're the wife beater version of that.
I only just started wearing
Mr. Reese Anweiler. Everybody, let's hear it for Reese.
Thank you.
Woo.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Reese.
Don't clap for me. It's fine.
I gave you a woo.
Oh. And to my right, owner and proprietor of Take Action, the one that makes all this possible. He once tattooed the girl with the dragon tattoo, Mr. John Brown.
What?
Wait, what?
I don't think I did that.
You never tattooed a girl with a dragon tattoo?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Or giving people dragon tattoos, I guess.
Yeah. So
One
that's
of
what I'm saying.
the other applies. Yeah, probably.
So you had a whole thing and you fucked it up.
Just not the girl.
I had to analyze it. No, not the girl. Not the girl, no.
So again, Mr. John Brown. Woo!
Yay!
All right. And I'm Dustin Holler. I am the guy who carries the unbearable weight of massive talent.
On
You gonna get a movie now too? You get an independent film.
Huh?
Your version of the Nicolas Cage. And
No, I'm just a huge ball of talent.
just all
That's all
over.
it is. Just seeping out
Yeah.
from every scene.
Ew, gross.
Yeah.
Back to porn, huh?
Seepage. So much. All right.
Oh yeah. Seepage
that.
is important. Speaking of seepage
Important.
and porn, what have you guys been watching?
Not that. Maybe some seepage in some of the movies I've seen.
You've got to have some seepage in the movies.
I mean,
think
there's a lot of seepage in horror
You're like the
movies.
seepage movie
exactly.
king.
I mean, yeah.
Actually, John, for a future episode, I think we need your seepage top 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I
can do a lot of those.
I've also been. I watched a movie. Oh, I watched 2 movies with seepage.
Would you like to start?
Sure, I'll start.
Yeah, I definitely have one at least.
Yeah, let's see. Top 3 movies I watched that have seepage are The Last Voyage of the Demeter. That's the bottom one for sure. Saw it in theaters.
Did that suck? I know it bombed.
It didn't suck. It definitely could have been. It was pretty middle of the road. It was pretty meh.
That's unfortunate because it could have been good. It could have been a really interesting movie.
The reviews I read made it sound like it was more of like a just kind of like a actiony like monster movie kind of a thing. Whereas like whenever you're getting into like Dracula, Nosferatu,
it's better if it's not that.
Yeah, I much prefer like the more like solemn like old school Bram Stoker's Dracula, Nosferatu, like that type of stuff.
Every action movie has fucked it up, especially Dracula has fucked it up. You make a Dracula movie, specifically Dracula movie action, and it's a train wreck.
I really wanted more horror and like tension.
Yeah. So
it really did not let the tension build.
They made the movie. It's about one chapter of Bram Stoker's book. I mean,
I asked you guys about the Netflix 3-part series of Dracula. Like they did a really good job. That's why I was excited for that. Those are the only guys I've ever seen do that, and it was solid. It had the tension. It was really good. Their portion of, or their representation of that portion of the story was fantastic. So, recommend that. Anyway.
Number 2 movie that includes seepage is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem.
Is it ooze?
I'm sure there's
Tell me
ooze.
it's ooze.
The ooze has lots of seepage.
Was it the secret? Was there a secret of the
ooze?
Ooze?
Secret. I mean, there's mutant mayhem caused by ooze seepage.
Yeah.
But it's very fun. The animation's fantastic.
Gotta watch out for that ooze seepage. Or they're gonna have mutant mayhem.
Rated PG-13 for ooze seepage. And then definitely the best movie I saw in the past 3 weeks that includes seepage is There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, I need to
Oil,
rewatch that.
oil seepage. Fantastic.
Oil seepage,
Oil
also
seepage.
head wound seepage.
Oh,
there's,
yeah.
there's a lot of
There's
seepage.
a lot
in
of-
that
Oh
movie
yeah,
in
I mean,
general.
really,
yeah.
a lot of things where people get murdered, there's bound to be seepage.
Yeah.
To some
Yeah.
degree.
Yeah.
I think that movie's
You
You
perfect.
can kind of throw that in there.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that movie a few times, and I've seen it semi recently.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about this off air. I always thought it was a little odd how the Paul Dano character is playing like the first time I didn't even catch that they were different characters.
Yeah.
And like I did some reading and found out that like it was supposed to be a different actor playing his brother at one point and something fell through. Instead of recasting, they just rewrote it as twins, and so he played both parts.
Right.
Yeah.
But they never appear on screen at the same time, and they never actually like point out that they're like brothers, and so it's just kind of awkward for the viewer, and like it kind of feels like the same character, and then you find out they aren't, and you're like, wait, what?
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, even when the main character and his son meet the second of the twins,
Yeah,
they look at each other like they're confused. Like, wait a minute, this.
like, you invited us up here, motherfucker.
Yeah. So like, yeah, there's a few. It's weirdly subtle, but yeah, I think. Oh my god, that movie is just fantastic. It's
It's a really good movie by a really good director.
Yeah, I think it's either that or The Master. I think are my favorite of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies.
I don't think I've seen The Master, so it's an easy best PTA for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, you're a PTA guy. What are your thoughts on? You know what? I'm not even gonna do this now.
Save it for later.
Yeah, this is
right.
another episode.
Okay.
I was gonna bring up Magnolia, but then we get into like religion and shit, and like so
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Oh, you
today.
hate talking about religion.
I do hate talking about religion, but especially in this episode because this episode has nothing to do with religion.
Right.
So
Well, I mean,
I don't think that's true.
like, there's definitely
don't
some
think it
tangents
does?
The
there.
entire movie's about like.
hey, we aren't on the
Yeah,
feature
yeah,
yet.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
What are you
we
trying to
definitely,
do to me
like,
over here?
it is like it's a core element, like the we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah. So what else have you guys been watching?
I've watched a bunch. A lot I can't remember, but some that definitely stick out quite a bit. Pretty sure this was after the last episode that I watched this, but The Haunted Palace was one that I really super enjoyed. Old 73 Vincent Price horror movie, like a joining of eldritch horror, like Lovecraftian stuff with Poe, and it was just fucking awesome.
Nice.
The atmosphere,
Just the two greatest horror minds of all time collaborated.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
it's sweet. Yeah, with Vincent Price at the front, and the first time I've ever seen him in anything like an actual full-length performance, and
Oh wow.
I felt he was solid. You know, I felt everybody was solid. Like it was definitely that era of film, but the atmosphere was fantastic. The sets were fantastic.
You guys, you've both seen like Haunting of Hill House.
I wanted to rewatch it. I think I have, but it's
The
been
Haunting
so
of
long. I have
is it
no
called The Haunting
recollection.
of Bly Manor?
Yeah, that one sucks.
Yeah.
And then Midnight Mass.
Oh, they did a third series. Or-
Yeah. hmm
I did not know that. Is Midnight Mass good?
I loved Midnight Mass. yeah.
Okay. Do you agree that The Haunting of Bly Manor was trash?
I don't think it was trash. I thought it was like pretty forgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, it wasn't scary.
No,
right?
it
like,
wasn't.
The Haunting of Hill House is one of the most terrifying
The
things
newer
I've ever
TV
seen in my
series?
life.
From Netflix. Yeah,
Midnight Mass is from I think 2 years ago, and then Bly Manor is from like 3 years before that.
No, I missed the Midnight
No,
Mass,
so
too.
The Haunting of Hill House was one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen before in my life. I loved it, and I love the way they did it.
Yeah.
It was
And-
engrossing.
Yeah, the way it was like about like people who grew up in a haunted house who are now grown-ups struggling
Yeah.
with shit,
Well,
psychological shit caused by the fact that they grew up in a haunted house, and then flashbacks.
yeah.
It's terrifying. And then they did The Haunting of Bly Manor, which is basically season 2 of the same production.
It's like a lot of the
But
same actors.
The problem with The Haunting of Bly
similar
Manor
premise.
is it's not scary. It's kind of dull.
It's
and
mostly sad.
I watched the entire
Yeah.
series, and then
Just saying.
the twist is at the end you find out that what you've been watching is actually kind of a love story,
yeah.
and that just that's just a horrible follow.
Was it because they were lesbians? Is that why you think it's trash?
No, I love lesbians. Lesbians love me. I don't know what you're trying to insinuate.
If you like vampires, Midnight Mass is awesome.
And that's just
They
part
handled
3
it
of that.
done
Okay,
well.
all right, I gotta write
Yeah,
that one down.
it's like 8 episodes long. It's super like dialogue heavy, which is cool. But the vampires are done really interestingly, and lots of religious topics. Might not be for Dustin.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I'm
vampires
not afraid
always
of
have
that.
the religious topic built into that archetype.
But then why I brought that up is because the same guy is what's his name? It's something Flanagan. Is it Mike Flanagan?
Is doing the Fall of the House of Usher?
Yeah, he's doing an Edgar Allan
I'm
Poe.
excited about that. Yeah.
I'm excited too.
I'm super excited about that. That's dope. But yeah, The Haunted Palace was fantastic, though. If you want to watch a good old fucking passion horror movie, the pacing was sweet. Just overall, just super enjoyable. The camera work, fantastic. I really enjoyed it. American Pop, an 80s
animated?
from Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah.
Really, I'm a big fan of Ralph Bakshi movies.
Oh yeah.
They're, as an artist, they're fun. I haven't rewatched Fritz the Cat or anything of the Fritz the Cat shit in a long time.
Yeah,
I'd like
I
to
haven't
rewatch
seen
it.
that one.
I know it's just like fucking degenerately weird, like cat doing drugs and having sex with cats. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a beatnik cat, basically. But yeah, American Pop was really cool. It chronicled the generational lifespan, like 4 different sons in a family after coming to the States from Russia. And yeah, a really cool use of music. Very fun. Very fun. I watched Fargo for maybe the first time.
Maybe you couldn't
I may
remember.
have seen it, but it would have been a long time ago.
Oh,
I feel
Fargo's
like I
so
didn't see
good.
it, but it is fun. It is super
Yeah.
fucking good.
Yeah. For such a dark movie, it's really funny.
No, it is fucking
Yeah, and
hilarious.
that's a director feature I could see us doing. In the,
Oh yeah,
in
Coen
the-
Brothers.
Yeah, the Coen
Yeah,
brothers.
yeah.
They have just such a great filmography.
Mhm.
Now, granted, that one's pretty vast.
yeah.
That's big.
Yeah,
Paul Thomas
that's-
Anderson might be a better choice. 'Cause
Yeah.
He's only got like
Yeah,
9 or 10
I think our
movies?
first
Yeah.
one is undeniably going to be Wes Anderson,
Right.
just because.
Yeah.
And I think Tarantino's an easy one, just because
Yeah.
we've all seen those movies a million
Right.
times. I
Well, and
assume.
yeah.
Speaking of Wes Anderson, interestingly, the Asteroid City is coming back to theaters for a bit, and it looks
Oh,
like
that's weird.
it's gonna play in Warsaw, which is pretty cool.
I will go
Oh.
see that for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna see that again.
Yeah, I will do that.
Last movie that I want to talk about that was really cool. I've seen before, but just popped up on Shudder, I think again. And it's an awesome horror movie. The Dark Song. It's about a woman finding an occultist to help her with this ritual. At first she says it's for one reason, then it's revealed that it's another. But it's super involved occult stuff. Like,
Yeah.
It's not a lot of presentation of rituals in film are just like do some stuff, and this is like dug in. They find a house and she rents the house for a year. This whole process of ritual could take like months and months and months. So they like seal themselves in the house and get all these provisions for the entire time. And it's just a really intense view and representation of that in horror. And they do some really cool, old school, subtle stuff towards the end of it. The end can be a bit confusing, but it's still really appropriate to what the movie's about. You ever seen that, The Dark Side?
No, sounds good though.
Yeah, it is. It is very good. It gets very intense in like very slow burn ways, but yeah. So that's what I've been watching. All really solid movies. And then one, of course, with you guys.
I also, anyone wanting a good, I watched a ton of stuff. We could talk about it for a long time. But if anyone wants a good documentary recommendation, I watched The Thin Blue Line for the first time.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's such a good.
I don't like that there are so many yellow line movies. Like I have an issue with that. Dude, we have a
Yellow line
we have a
movies.
thin line for every color. It's insane.
Oh yeah, we have the
Oh,
thin
right.
blue line, the thin red line.
I think
That's
there's
it, though.
I think there's a thin white line as well.
I don't know what that would be.
I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know. What that
Yeah,
would be.
yeah. There's just a bunch of thin colored lines.
Yeah, yeah.
It's insanity. I'm not a fan. I won't
We need
take
thicker
part.
lines.
It's where's
Although,
the body
lines.
positivity? Where's the
Although
fat
I
blue
will
line?
say, a Thin Red Line, the war movie. I haven't seen it in years, but that movie was so good, and it got hosed at the Oscars because it came out the wrong year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always heard it was bad. I don't think I ever got around to watching it.
It's really, really good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a really good movie for people who like good movies. Like,
Cool.
if you want like because I think it like was it the same year as Saving Private Ryan? Like it tried to go against Saving Private Ryan.
It was close.
I feel like it was like
close.
a year or so before that.
Was it? Okay.
I'll check, but
I'm curious because I know it was in a bad year, but it's like the opposite. It's more platoony.
Yeah.
Than Saving.
More psychological.
It's more
emotional.
psychological. Yeah.
I do like Saving Private Ryan. I think it's a really good film.
Yeah, I'll never forget,
film.
and also because I worked at Blockbuster and they had the trailers running all the time.
Oh yeah, same year as Private Ryan.
Yeah, that was the issue with that movie is it came out the same year as Saving Private Ryan. But no, there's like this, and also like they are very similar movies in that like there's no like true main character and it's definitely more of a group effort. But I'll never forget there was this scene where like this guy is like they're doing like a voiceover. He's like writing his girlfriend and like they're kind of doing the voiceover as action or, marching sequences are happening or whatever. And he's basically writing it's his fiance or his wife.
I thought you said writing, like RIDING. Like there's this graphic sex scene. I was confused.
Oh no, writing. Like he was writing a letter to his.
I was like, damn, I don't remember this scene.
To his, I don't know, to his female interest.
To his gal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, and he's talking about how hard it is, and he's like, and he's basically saying that like he thinks about her all the time, and that like because he has her. Nothing can touch him, not even death.
Yeah.
And then, like, there's a scene a little later in the movie where, like, she basically sends him a letter before she gets his letter. And, like, so that's a letter that is in the stratosphere. And so, like, he gets her letter that was sent before she got his letter. And it was, like, basically how, like, she's, like, not somebody who can wait, and that like she's like now fucking his brother or something like that. It's just like, oh, by the way, and so like this dude goes into battle after reading this, like, and he just like goes like fucking psycho. It's like, it was a really good scene.
Are you guys familiar with Terrence Malick, the director?
No, I am not.
He directed the Thin Red Line. And his films are all like very.
What other highlights does he have on his filmography there, Reese?
The biggest one is the Tree of Life.
Okay.
That Brad Pitt, Sean Penn movie from like 2010, 11.
Okay.
But he also did like Days of Heaven, Badlands. He's got a pretty wide filmography, but all of his movies are like really like slow and like like visual poetry.
I like his style because he makes really awesome visual poetic boring ass movies.
Yeah,
I love that.
You have to be real patient.
I love that shit.
But he also like he can get like anyone because actors want to work with him. And so, like, the Thin Red Line has, like...
It has everybody.
Has a shit ton of people. And on top of that, they had, like, 6 other actors that had, like, full scenes that they had to cut because the movie's, like, 5 hours long.
It has, like, like, the cast list on this movie's insane. But then, like, you'll see, like, George Clooney or whatever, and he'll say, like, one line, and then you never see him again.
Right.
That's, like, the entire cast. Here's... it's Sean Penn, Adrian Brody, Jim Caviezel... George Clooney, John Cusack, Woody Harrelson, Jared Leto, Tim Blake Nelson, Nick Nolte, John C. Reilly, John Travolta, and that's just the people that didn't get cut from the movie.
Right. Yeah.
It's got
that is everybody.
Got a little bit of a cast.
I'd like to see that. I never watched it. I'm a huge fan of psychological horror movies. But
so it's a so I watched a few movies. I watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, as I hinted in the intro. It's the movie.
I'm really curious.
The Nicolas Cage movie that's kind of about Nicolas Cage. It's like in the spirit of like kind of like what they did with Being John Malkovich, kind of a thing.
Bruce Campbell too.
Yeah.
Version of that.
Not nearly as interesting as either of those.
No. The writing is not as interesting. It's a fun movie.
It's fun. Yeah, it's not bad by any means. There's been a few movies like that, and like
it wasn't first. It wasn't first, and
Demeter.
it wasn't as like being John Malkovich is just like a writing like Marvel.
Yeah. It's just like these movies that like have really fun and kind of crazy concepts, and they just don't go all in on it.
Right,
you know?
right.
I watched Molly and I went and we watched Barbie, and sorry, Reese, I didn't love Barbie. I thought that Barbie. I don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't think it's a good movie, and that's my take on Barbie.
Yeah.
I thought that like it was a little too Will Ferrell for me.
He wasn't in it that much though.
He wasn't in it that much, but the whole movie was Will Ferrellized. Like the whole movie had the vibe of a Will Ferrell movie. I felt like I was watching, like I don't know, whatever, Anchorman or some shit like that, So anyway, that's all I need to. We've talked enough about Barbie. We're moving on. I watched a really good movie. This has been on, like, I've wanted to watch this movie since the year it came out. It was like an Oscars contender that didn't really win anything. But Atonement. This movie's fucking fantastic. Like, oh god, I can't believe it took me so long to watch this. But basically, the whole movie is about basically a little girl telling a lie, and how this lie like changes everyone around her. And this little girl is like a piece of shit. Like, I just want to smash her in the face. Like, I mean, she is the fucking devil. She should have won an Oscar for portraying the devil as this little girl that just fucking ruined people's lives. Like, and it's like she's like a teenager. I want to say she's like 13. So a 13-year-old ruins people's lives by telling one lie when she's 13.
Yeah,
and so Atonement. I don't want to give away the whole story.
John's like, this movie sounds great.
So the
exposing 13-year-old girls for the shitheads they are.
The movie is not actually about the 13-year-old. It's about the people that she fucked up.
Her community and everything around.
Yeah. It's about the people she hurt. It's about the people she hurt.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of atonement. She's the only like one, and like by the time this movie gets to its conclusion, you realize that the title is ridiculous because there's no way she could ever atone for what she did. Like, there is no atonement, and like the conclusion, her idea of atonement, not okay. Like this does not like resolve shit of what you did. You're still a piece of shit, and really your effort to atone was lackluster. So definitely check that out. It's
right on.
Yeah, it's an uplifting film. Yeah. Speaking of uplifting films, I chose the feature today.
Oh wait, you're skipping.
I'm not at the feature.
Okay.
I'm not at the feature. I chose the feature today.
Yeah.
And the feature today is by a director named Martin McDonagh. And after we all got together and watched the feature together, I realized that there was one of his films that I had not seen, and so I went and watched The Banshees of Inisherin. And I mean, it's pretty easy to say I liked it. I've actually seen it twice now. Like, I ended up watching it again a couple days later. Yeah. Really, really, really enjoy this movie. Super dark, super gritty. It's about a concept that I think is kind of undiscovered in film before, which is crazy because it's a pretty simple thing. Yeah. Pretty simple idea about like two guys who basically are besties, hang out every day. It's two guys that live on Inisherin. It's an island off the coast of Ireland. It's like set in the 1920s during the Irish Civil War. Mm-hmm. And like basically one guy is like Brendan Gleeson, who's like an older guy. Colin Farrell plays the younger guy. They're besties, but the older guy just one day decides that he doesn't want to be friends with him anymore. Basically because he's older and thinks that the guy's a fucking idiot and like he's wasting his life having this guy as a friend when he could be like making music and doing art and all this other stuff. And then like the whole thing is about like Colin Farrell like being kind of dim-witted, like not really understanding where he's coming from and like trying to make things right, and then it ends up turning into a like kind of a bloody, violent nightmare. It's a really fun movie.
Yeah, it's fantastic performances too from like all of the leads, especially.
Oh yeah,
actually, just everyone in that movie.
Yeah, and it just like I love the setting of it, like just kind of like this 1920s like quiet island off the coast of Ireland, where like it's just a bunch of like fucking like sheep farmers and like it's
the simplest of
it's the simplest of life
thing
for sure. There's like one pub, you know, that like everybody's there.
Everyone's either at their house or the pub. That's it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What does she have to do?
Yeah,
make art and shit, as he pointed out.
Yeah.
So that's all I watched, I think. So Reese, you had something to say before we get to the feature. So
let's
hear you out. You have the floor.
I just thought we all got back together again.
Yes, we
on
did
Friday.
watch a movie.
Oh yeah, we did watch
a very big movie.
We did watch a movie together.
We watched
the best movie, one of my favorite films.
Don't ask us how we got it.
Right, good fucking.
We watched Old Boy.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. It's such a good movie.
Yeah, I forgot exactly how good it was. It's easy to forget exactly how good a movie that good is.
Yeah. Especially because
it has to hit you again. And you're
I'm like really new to Korean films. Like, I really am very new to Korean films.
Fucking awesome.
They're really fucking good.
You can't take it away from it, man.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Oh god. I just everyone I watch, I'm just like God obsessed with. Like it was Parasite and like I still think I Saw the Devil is my favorite so far. I Saw the Devil is just like a...
I need to rewatch it because I know I'll get fucking slapped in the face again when I watch that. Because when I watched it the first time, I just got slapped in the fucking face.
Yeah, I got to rewatch that too, actually.
Yeah, Old Boy was a marvel of its own.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful film. It's a fucked up subject, and if people have seen it a lot of the time, they'll be like, oh, that movie's fucked up. Like,
yeah,
but
it's got a couple
beautiful fucking film.
A couple of spots, including like the ending, that like really stick in your brain. You kind of forget a lot of other stuff in the movie.
That's the point, though. Like,
yeah,
it's a fucked up thing.
Yeah,
like, it should have resounded with people when watch it. Like, God, that was fucked up.
But like, similar to the movie we're going to talk about, both of them I had seen before like years ago, and I thought I had positive thoughts of them, and then I watched them and I just forgotten like some really major scenes and sequences.
I felt the same way about In Bruges when watching it. Like I hadn't seen it.
I was like, what?
If I had seen it,
I don't remember that happening.
Yeah, no, they're very surprising films.
Yeah,
as far as just exactly how good they are.
Yeah, so Old Boy is incredible. I've also noticed how it felt like so informed by like French cinema watching it again. Felt very of the time too, the early 2000s, like some of like the real flash cuts and quick zooms and weird angles and stuff.
Yeah. I dig the weird angles. The fucking hallway fight scene, I think it's one of the great fight scenes.
It's just perfect.
In film overall, I think that's one of the best fight scenes.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking genuine.
Yeah.
By the end of this fight scene, it's not like this guy's a fucking superhero like everyone in the room.
Oh, I mean, they have to like all take a break halfway through because they're just exhausted.
We need to set a date to do a double feature of the American version of that as well as the live action Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, I want to do that.
It's going to be a double feature at some point.
That would be fun. We should. Because they did the same thing. To the movie, they just kind of.
We'll drink a lot for this one.
Oh, it's probably worse. I hate it.
Have you seen?
I hated.
Have you seen
American
either?
Like
I saw the live action Ghost in the Shell.
I haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
But like at least you can have the.
Yeah, you haven't seen the Old Boy though.
You can experience it for what it is. Like you can.
It's changing mediums, right?
Yeah.
It's live action, but like Old Boy, it's like.
They just fucked the story up.
It's live action, and you just had to remake it for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same, but worse.
It's worse. It's just worse, and it's not the worst cast or anything either. Like it's a good cast, I think, but it's just worse. Like if you had never seen Old Boy and watched that as an American, maybe you'd think it's an okay movie. But like if you've seen the original, it just pales. It's just stupid.
Yeah, that would be a fun movie.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, if you haven't seen Old Boy, people, watch Old Boy.
Yeah.
And I Saw the Devil.
You know, the funny thing about this is they can't.
Also, Chaser 2. Chaser
coming
is
soon, though.
Fucking awesome. If you should watch that one.
I haven't seen Chaser now.
Yeah, you should watch Chaser.
But Old Boy is coming soon, right?
Old Boy is playing in theaters in very large cities.
movies like super old. Not super old, but
it is.
by having theatrical releases, it's super old.
Right.
Yeah, it's Old Boy is coming to digital soon. It doesn't have, I don't think it has a release.
Well, as long as it's going somewhere.
It's got to go
so
through its
people
whole
can watch
little
it.
mini theatrical shtick, and
Because everybody should watch it.
that stuff is super sped up these days compared to how it was years ago.
But yeah, if you have I don't know, like the subject matter is, it will, disturb some people for sure. But it's like the ultimate revenge. What this guy does, like that is, it's fucking brutal. Like that's the most fucked up thing you could do to somebody, and the scope of it, scope of it is insane.
That's
also very anime inspired.
Oh, it is for sure.
It's movie logic. It doesn't matter how.
That's how I felt about I Saw the Devil. That's the most fucked up thing you can do to somebody. Is like catch the dude that you want revenge against, torture him, beat him to within an inch of his life, let him recover, and then start all over.
Not
again.
just let him recover. He gives him a fucking lot of money. Like he fucks him up, makes him. He chokes his fucking tracker down his throat, and then leaves him with like a few $1,000s. Like here you go, and then just every time, just
he wants very much for him not to die in that scene. You know,
the fight choreography in that film is fucking fantastic too. It's super brutal.
It's a super solid movie.
Chaser though, for real. For that kind of film.
Writing that one down too.
It's really
I got
good.
a lot of shit written down today.
Yeah, I know. I need to copy your notes. You're gonna have to send me a picture.
So you guys ready to move on?
Let's do this.
Feature. All right. So for this week's feature, I chose In Bruges.
We should get the picture up
Since
I put that on there.
Yeah, we got that. All right. Anyway,
I think it's Chaser. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Chaser.
Oh, is it The Chaser?
Maybe The Chaser. Yeah.
So In Bruges is the feature this week. And as mentioned previously, it's a film by Martin McDonagh, who is an amazing director who does not have that much of a filmography at this point.
Yeah, he'd also be another one to do good.
You know, it's really easy because it's only a few films right now. Notable films: Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and Seven Psychopaths, and then The Banshees of Inisherin mentioned earlier. Three other movies you need to check out of Martin McDonagh. But this movie is
the three other movies.
Yeah, the other he's got a couple like shorts or something. Like if you want to check out his whole filmography, but yeah, as far as features, he's got one on the way. He's got an untitled project that's probably going to come out in like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, one of his short films, I think it's called Six Shooter.
Yeah. I wanted to see that.
He won the Oscar for best live action short film.
Okay, that's probably before he started doing features because that's usually a good gateway. That's like a good whoever wins the best short feature at the Oscars is guaranteed to get a deal to do an actual full length feature the next year. It just happens every time.
I didn't know this. I was learning some about him. He was in screen playwriting before this.
Oh yeah.
And he was apparently
still is. He does a lot of that. Yeah.
But he dropped 6 huge, extremely successful plays in 1 year. Apparently he's just fantastic at that.
So, as you know, a town that has a local theater, how can we have that? Right, how can we have somebody to perform that? Why can't our theater do that? Because it's a script like any other, you know.
We're probably lucky to have.
No, I know, but that's the thing. I would love to go to the theater.
Yeah.
I would love to go to the theater. I love the idea of theater. I think it's the purest thing. The same shit all the time.
I want Rushmore style theater where it's
fuck what I want to do.
No, exactly.
I want to see fucking Scarface the musical or something.
Yeah, dude. Evil Dead the musical, But yeah, I would love for independent stuff to come to theater, just something other than just the big name titles that are always played year after year everywhere. You know.
Yeah, I actually argue with my partner a lot about they are an absolute nut for theater, and they think theater is the perfect art form and everything, but it's inaccessible, you know. Martin McDonagh's stage plays. I probably have to fly New York or London.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's the thing that's frustrating is having that venue, like maybe the idea could be to like recruit, like this is also essentially a college town, right? You know, like, so is there not a theater department inside college town?
Christian college.
Well, yeah, they still probably have a theater department.
They do. I don't know if they're going to be playing a Martin McDonough.
No, they not. But you
that'd be
could
funny,
find
though.
the community of actors, and maybe there'd be a number that would want to, and then maybe they could approach the venue and be like, "Hey, can we put on this production?"
Well, this podcast is about feature films, not about
sorry.
The theater. However, if you like this this whole thing you got going about like theater versus feature films, you can watch the movie Birdman with Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah, that's fucking
and that
awesome.
movie is basically about
so
this exact
awesome.
conversation.
Yeah.
So check that one out.
I think they're fucking just they're just as important. But yeah, the other is the accessibility shit for
You
sure.
can also listen to our new podcast coming soon. Fuck this stage production.
Oh god.
We're only
One
gonna cover
episode
very
only.
specific things. All right.
Indeed. So in Bruges, directed by Martin McDonough, and this is starring two main characters, Ray, played by Colin Farrell, and Ken, played by Brendan Gleeson. Same two guys that you will see in The Banshees of Inisherin. And basically they play two hitmen who are in the city of Bruges in Belgium, which I found out is actually, I think, pronounced Bruges.
Bruges?
Yeah.
Okay, here we are.
Yeah. Apparently our characters did not know this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
for anyone who wants to join in and watch the movie before we talk about
yeah, you should do that.
That's a bit. That's a bit we do.
It's streaming on Stars.
Oh, fuck. You can't watch it. Nobody has that.
Yeah, or it's available to buy in all the normal places.
Yeah, just buy it.
Like, it's on sale right now on Vudu for $5.
Honestly, just buy the movie because this is one of, we talk about this a lot, Reese, like what makes a rating on a movie, and one thing you and I talk about a lot is rewatchability. And it's like, it's kind of hard to be like a perfect movie if I don't want to watch it again.
Yeah.
And like, this is one of those movies that passes the rewatchability test for me. This is one of those movies I think it gets a little better every time I watch it, actually.
Yeah.
But anyway, this movie is about two hitmen who are basically hiding out in Bruges because the younger one, played by Colin Farrell, his name is Ray, accidentally killed a little boy in one of his jobs. And so they're hiding out in Bruges to await further instructions from their, let's say, crime head boss, played by Ralph Fiennes. I'm sorry. Yeah, Ralph Fiennes. Sorry. I get him and his brother mixed up.
I had read, I think it may be the Amazon, just like synopsis. Not sure what synopsis, where it came from, but it describes Ralph Fiennes' character as maniacal. Like, two hitmen hiding from their maniacal boss. And like, as soon as I read that, like, he's not, that doesn't fit at all. Like, he's not maniacal. Like he's a fucking character,
like
but
he's a maniac.
Yeah. He's not really
pretty logical.
Yeah, no, he's very collected. Like, when he's pissed off, he's fucking pissed off, but he's very collected the entire movie.
Google gives the first definition of maniacal as extremely wild or violent behavior. So
he does violent behavior, but he's
definitely violent.
He's not. That struck me as just too much, though, because he's that denotes a fucking like almost cartoonish aspect to
I mean, I guess they're going because he was like the dum-dums, right? Which we're skipping way ahead.
Right.
But he's like, I know I shouldn't, but I will. He takes the dum-dums.
Yeah, he's... so after you've been introduced to him, you're first introduced to him with a note. So you only have, like, dialogue from the character.
All right. Let's back up.
All right.
Ralph Fiennes doesn't come into the movie right away. So,
anyway.
So basically, our two main characters... Huh? Oh, if you want to do the letterbox, we can do the letterbox. It's usually trash, but
Ray and Ken, two hitmen are in. That's Ray and Ken. I don't think I pronounce it.
Yeah.
Two hitmen are in. What did you say? Bruges.
Bruges. We're going to call it Bruges.
Belgium, waiting for their next mission. While they are there, they have time to think and discuss their previous assignment. When the mission is revealed to Ken, it is not what he expected.
That's interesting.
Vague. And the original, we just need to have a reoccurring segment of bad movie tagline.
It's just like every movie tagline ever.
Is shoot first, sightsee later.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a bad, like, on its own, I don't think it's bad. It's just not for this movie.
Yeah.
No. And it's actually factually inaccurate.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess it's a matter of perspective. Because in the film that you watch, in the experience that you see,
these taglines
it is very
are made
much
by
sightseeing first.
marketing representatives that
sightseeing.
don't have any creative input into the movie. No director would ever want that to be the tagline for their movie.
It's kind of like fucking weird Asian movie posters that they just get like told the title and then they just make some shit up. Or like have the briefest, because so many of those posters like make no sense whatsoever for the actual film.
It's they're definitely trying to sell it as like a Guy Ritchie type mob.
Yeah, which is what you expect, and like just from the image, you kind of expect that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I definitely have to say about it. It's after a rewatch of not ever seeing it, like it's so not what you would expect
Honestly,
at all.
Just the colors on that poster are terrible. Like that doesn't represent the movie at all.
No,
it doesn't.
Actually, that's a good observation.
So here's the thing: they're trying to sell this as an
dark
action
and
movie.
I
dreary.
hate the fucking Photoshop beard.
The poster is the marketing of the studio trying to sell this as an action movie because they know that action movies sell.
Yeah, for sure.
This is not an action movie.
No, it is not.
Yeah, this is a dramedy.
This is a slightly better poster.
Yeah, that is a better poster. 100%.
It is. I don't know where that comes from.
This is great. This is great audio.
Did he
too.
actually have an
He's
ice cream
showing us
cone?
a picture of a better poster.
Because I kept looking.
Huh?
Does he ice cream?
No, he doesn't.
There's
So
no way. That's a shit poster.
I looked at that poster and I wondered. I didn't use
All right,
it. So,
so
I'm like, that doesn't fucking happen.
Google in Bruges posters, and you'll find one of Colin Farrell holding an ice cream. It doesn't make
For
any
no
fucking
fucking
sense.
reason.
One of him holding a beard.
That makes sense, but
Yeah,
it is
that does
stupid
make-
looking.
The poster's bad.
Yeah, it is.
It's a terrible poster. We can all agree on that. So,
All right, moving on.
So basically, these two guys. It starts with them arriving in Bruges to hide out because somebody fucked up and accidentally killed
And
a little kid.
it takes a while to reveal that too. You don't
By
get
the
that
way,
revealed until like
first line of the
40
film.
minutes in.
Anybody remember the first line of the film?
Fucking Bruges.
No. Bruges is a shithole.
Okay.
That's the very first line of the movie. And so what we're started at is these two guys are arriving in Bruges for the first time. Neither of them have ever been here before. And we have Ken, Brendan Gleeson's character, who is kind of immediately infatuated with the beauty of the city, the history. He's much more of a sightseer. And Ray, Colin Farrell's character, could not give a fuck about any of that, basically.
No, he's a young guy. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, there's actually they're doing a little sightseeing to start off, and there's actually a scene where he's like, "Do you think this is good?" Like looking at old buildings and shit. Like,
Right.
you think this is good?
It's a
And he's
magical
like,
city.
and he actually like explains to him what sightseeing is. And it's like, yes, I do think it's good. And then like there's this old tower, and he's like, "You want to go all the way up there? Why would I climb all the way up there just to look down here? I'm already down here."
Yeah.
Like just the
Worst
logic.
tourist ever.
There's also a really funny scene with that tower when there's this rather large family of Americans and Colin, and like, you know, so Ken is going up the tower by himself, Ray's down below, and or is he going? Oh, Ken's out of the picture for a minute.
Yeah, Ken goes up and Colin Farrell sits.
They both go up, right?
Hey, no,
that's right.
Yeah. Ken goes up and he's down there, and these Americans come over, and he's like, "You guys don't want to go up there," and they're like, "What?" And he's like, "I'm not trying to be funny, but you guys are a bunch of elephants," and it is a rather large American family, and they're like, and so like Ken comes out of, and by the way, he's up on the, like, you can tell these guys aren't like on the best of terms. Ken is up on this like huge building, and he's looking down at Ray. And he's doing like the finger gun, like boom, like,
so
like
that
sniping in.
The one thing that after on the rewatch, there's so much foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Like in all this, there were 3 foreshadowing scenes. Like that foreshadows to the call he gets, the job that Ken has. There's foreshadowing, simple foreshadowing from like that sets up the movie later. The big guy, he has a heart attack. That's why the fucking thing's closed. Later, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Are the coins?
The coins is foreshadowing too for that guy. Like there's
without breaking a big dollar bill.
Yeah.
Big coin
Yeah. Well, and the guy being a dick and getting his comeuppance too, because that same guy is a dick to Fine's character,
which is hilarious.
Yeah.
We'll get to that, but
no, in like 10 minutes of the movie, they're foreshadowing like so many other things.
Oh, so many things that are going to happen. Yeah. But anyway, so Ray is down on the ground, and Ken is up above pretending to shoot him. And this American family is like talking about going up there, and he's like, "Yeah, I hear it's not so great." And they're like, "Oh, really? This guide says it's like one of the best places to visit." And he's like, "Well, you guys can't go up there." And he's like, "Why?" And he's like, "Well, I'm not trying to be funny, but you guys are a fucking family of elephants."
Yeah, don't make me say it.
And then so he's pissing off this American family,
and there's a hilarious cartoon chase that ensues. Around the bench.
Oh yes, where he's just like pretending to run basically, and he's outrunning these large people because he's
just the dad. I think he's the one going after.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And so like kind of Ken is coming down from this tower, just as he's hearing like, this woman be like, "You are just the rudest man."
The rudest man.
Yeah, the rudest man, which is like the worst insult you can say to a person.
Yeah.
And Ken's just like, what the fucking, and like he sees these Americans going towards the tower, and he's like, "Hey folks, it's really narrow in there. You might not want to." They're like, "Fuck you!" like immediately, just like,
which is a little odd because like he's not that much smaller than he's not like a thin guy.
Yeah, it's a funny scene, and then he looks at Colin Farrell, and Colin Farrell's like, "I don't know Americans, man." Like,
yeah. Now the first dose of that character's insensitivity because he is a dick.
Oh yeah,
he is an asshole.
Every line.
Yeah.
Is very.
But hey, you know what?
Offensive.
They were right because he had a heart attack. Okay,
Yeah.
they tried to warn him, and then the motherfucker had a heart. Although he may have not had a heart attack if he didn't chase Colin Farrell around the bench.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So basically, they go back to the room, and like Colin Farrell's like chomping at the bit. He's bored as shit, and he's like, "Hey, let's go. Let's get out of here for a little bit." He's like, "Oh, what do you want to do?" And he's like, "Let's go to the pub." And he's like, "No." He's like, "Hey, those old buildings you like looking at? I bet they look even better at night, all lit up and stuff. Let's go do some of that." And he's just like, "Okay." And the whole point was at first like, we aren't supposed to leave because Harry, Ralph Fiennes' character, could call at any time. He's like, he's not going to call tonight. It's pretty late. Let's get the fuck out of here. So they go do some more sightseeing at night. And
stumble onto a film set.
Yeah.
They do. Actually, before, I'll tell you, one of my favorite quotes is when they're doing the sightseeing. And, Ken is kind of, pissed off that he's his compadre is not enjoying it as much. One of my favorite lines of the movie is Colin Farrell, and he's like, "Ken, I'm from Dublin. I love Dublin. If I grew up on a farm and was retarded, Bruges might impress me, but I didn't, so it doesn't."
Right.
Yeah. His character is just hilariously stupid.
Oh yeah. So they wander on this film set because he sees a midget, as he says, and immediately becomes enthralled. He gets really excited and starts running towards this film set.
Loves midgets.
And he picks up a chick in the Belgian film business with probably the worst pickup line ever.
Yeah.
Basically, the entire pickup line is about midgets
and
about how they have a high suicide rate. And yes, yeah. And,
the scene is great because he's trying so hard. He's so to a degree out of his fucking depth, and he just pulls it out with his fucking midget line.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Well, they like to be called dwarves." And that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They want to be called dwarves. Everyone's going around calling them midgets. She blows her brains out.
Indeed.
Yeah, and she finds this endearing. She laughs, and you can tell that he got her at that point. So they set up a date. And so they go on this date after some convincing where, before the date. They get back to the hotel, and Harry did call. And they missed the call, and there's a message that he left with the woman who runs the hotel. And it is the most fuck laced note in the history of notes. Like, they read the note and, like, literally fuck is, like, 3 times in every sentence. And it's, like, 6 sentences. Definitely look it up. Harry's Note from In Bruges. Yeah, I would not dare repeat it because I could never deliver it as well as Ralph Fiennes. And just like a voiceover work reading his own note. It's so good. It's so fucking good.
The introduction of the characters extra.
Oh yeah, and that is the introduction to Ralph Fiennes. But like then you find that he's always like that in this movie. Like so anyway, he's they're in the room and he's like, well, we're like, you know, this is the next night. Like we're staying. He's like, but I got the date with the girl. Belgian film business, you know, like, so only one of us really needs to be here to take Harry's call. So the next night, Ken agrees, and Ray goes out on this date with this chick that's in the Belgian film business. They go to what seems to be a very nice restaurant. And yeah, they get in a fight with some Canadians.
Later revealed.
Like she goes like gets up to go to the bathroom and like he overhears the Canadian like bitching about like smoke being blown on his face,
which on rewatch it absolutely was not.
yeah. And so basically while she's in the bathroom, he ends up punching out the Canadian, and then like his fiance comes at him with a bottle. He punches the fiance as well, and like
she got a bottle.
Yeah. And
he tried not to, and then he noticed she had a bottle.
And so, you know, the next thing you know, they're outside the restaurant, and he's like, I would never hit a woman. Never. I'd hit a woman that was coming at me with a bottle. And it's funny because there was actually a conversation earlier in the movie about like a bottle, like Ken talking about him like killing somebody that he actually cared about. And
they came at him with a bottle. The brother came at him.
Yeah, came at him with a bottle, and he's like, "Hey, that's a deadly weapon. You know, somebody comes at you with a bottle. You know, it's you or them." And so
it is an obnoxious amount of foreshadowing.
Yeah,
so
no, it is.
Everything foreshadows something.
And the whole time, like the entire movie, the music is on par.
Oh, I wanted to point that out. I was waiting for a good moment. Yeah, the score is fucking beautiful.
The score is very heavy on the piano side, but it usually has a bunch of quick shots of a lot of architecture from the city.
Yeah. Well, it fades in and out of the scene perfectly. You know, like all the sightseeing has this super just beautiful, whimsical music attached to it, and it fits each scene really well. When the tempo changes, when the mood changes, it changes. Yeah, it's an immediate that was the most immediate unexpected thing I think on the rewatch was exactly how good this score was, and it hits you immediately.
Oh yeah,
right off the bat, and it's
coordinated well with the like shots. Of the city.
Yeah.
But so what I love is this scene is pretty funny with the date, but then they flip over to Ken. And this is kind of what's happening while Ray is on the date. And this is Ken actually getting Harry's call. And it's funny because Harry immediately is like, is Ray with you? And he's like, oh, yeah, he's in the bathroom. And he's like, he's taking a one or a two.
That whole scene was fantastic.
And like Ray is totally not in the room. And he's just like, I don't know. He's just like, I don't know. And he's just like, oh, well, send him out. And so like he does this whole thing where he puts the phone on his chest and pretends to be having a conversation with Ray, who's not even in the room. And he's like, yeah, why don't you go down to the pub? And he's like, oh yeah, you can play some pool or whatever. And he gets back on the phone. He's like, all right, he's gone. He's like, are you sure?
What did he say?
Yeah, he's like, what'd he say? And, you know, like, was he taking a one or a two? You know, like he's like, well, he's gone now. He's like, how do you know he's gone? So I just sent him away. We'll look outside the door.
Have to walk out and stand.
It's just this whole like ridiculous.
No, it's great because he keeps pressing him about like Ray's reaction, and he has to turn it around. He's like, yeah, Ray was okay. Ray was he didn't like it. What the fuck is there not to like about this fucking magical city? This is fucking ridiculous. And so he has to like talk him back out of that. But he like
Yeah. And I love how like he's like, so hi, is he enjoying Bruges? And he's like, I'm enjoying it. I don't think it's really his thing. And he kind of like totally then like overcorrects. He's like, because like, you know, well, like, you know, Harry is this like very intimidating character, and he's just like, What?
Yeah, no,
What,
he loses
what do
his
you
shit.
mean it's not his thing? What do you What, like, you can tell he gets angry. It's like, what do you fucking mean it's not his thing? How it's a fairy tale land. How could it not be his thing? And he's just like, oh, what I meant to say was at first he was a little unsure, but then like once we got into the real like medieval part of town, then like he loved it a lot. And then he went into this whole thing. He's like, you know what he actually said to me the other day? He actually said, he's like, I know I'm awake, but I feel like I'm in a dream.
It was adorable too, because like at that point he's like getting
Fully
comfortable,
committed
like
to the
laying
lie?
down on the bed. Like it's this very like 13-year-old best friend conversation over the phone that happens, you know? Like, yeah, it was fucking awesome. And then that's more foreshadowing to what this call was actually about and why he was upset that he didn't like it being a magical city because it took him here to kill him. And so it was Harry's nice gesture to take him to this magical city.
And this is where we learn that the real reason they're in Bruges is for Ken to kill Ray. And he tells him, like, write down this address. Basically, this is where you can go get the gun. And he's revealed that that's the whole point of the trip. And he wanted to give him like one good thing before he died. And he was like, what good thing? He's like, to be able to see Bruges. And it's like, oh.
Well, and he shares a really like fucking personal memory too. Like it was the one nice thing he ever fucking experienced in his gangster life, you know. So develops that character a little bit more. Yeah, exactly.
So back to the date. Ray takes this chick home. Is in her loft, and they are broke in on by what is found out to be her boyfriend. And it is also found out that her and her boyfriend like to lure, Americans basically back to her loft and then rob them.
Tourists.
Did she
say specifically American?
Yeah. No, he's not American anyway. He's Irish. So anyway, they like to lure tourists back to their loft and rob them. And this guy has got a gun on them, and he ends up like slapping the dude, taking the gun away, and kind of takes over the situation, and then only to be told by her that there are only blanks in this gun. And the boyfriend kind of approaches him in a quick manner, and he fires a blank into his eye, which still fucking hurts.
Makes him go blind. I mean, I feel like the noise alone.
Yeah. The reaction was hilarious. He's like, "Oh, my fucking eye." He's like, "Of course your eye hurts. I just shot a blank in it."
It's also still pretty dangerous. The guy from The Crow was killed from a misfiring blank.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, indeed.
Misfiring blank.
Yeah. Brandon Lee died with that.
You can't. It's a weird idea because like,
it had a live round in it.
Yeah.
I believe what happened is like the shell ended up like I don't know. I believe it was a malfunctioning blank, not an actual round.
That's
now,
like
Alec Baldwin last year.
It's like next to impossible though. Like,
Killed somebody.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like
I
I
have to
don't know.
research it.
I have to read up on it, but I remember reading at the time that like it had a live round in it.
because like there's no way a bullet, a shell from a cartridge could go out of a barrel. Like that's physically impossible. The gun would just fucking explode. Anywho, people die from accidents in film.
So he shoots the boyfriend with the blank gun, and he's basically got an eye issue now.
Yeah,
and
because that would
he
destroy
finds out
your
the whole
eye.
shtick to where he was just basically brought here to be
Gunpowder
robbed.
blast directly to your eye. Yeah.
And she's trying to talk him down, like, no, like I told him not to come tonight, like, and he's like, I fucking knew that nobody like you would ever really like me, and like she slows down, gives him a really intimate kiss, is like, stay here, we'll be back, like basically saying that like I'm gonna get him medical treatment, but I want to continue this.
She's smitten.
Yeah. She
really
he he had her at the
doofy
dwarves
charm.
killing them, like his whole like dwarves committing
Well,
suicide.
okay, hold on. Also, we've
Was
only
midgets
identified
committing suicide
this girl as
thing.
like a member of a Belgian film crew. She's a drug dealer.
Yeah.
She's not like a good person either. So
Yeah. And also robs tourists.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all it took.
But and she's obviously her body language is very like, ugh, I can't believe I'm falling for it. Like she throws her number on the ground. She doesn't even hand it to him.
Right. Yeah, that was a cute scene too.
So basically, they go to the they take him to the emergency room, and as he's walking out of the apartment, he finds a bunch of cocaine and takes it. And other drugs. Yeah. So
again, not a nice guy. He just robbed this lady.
Meanwhile, Ken is in the pub, and our midget friend, played by Jimmy, played by Jordan.
Is the correct
Dwarf is. It is.
They use both here. They use both here.
Other words that aren't necessarily politically correct.
They do indeed. But in this case, Jimmy, played by Jordan Prentice. Which I think he was in like one of the Harry Potter movies. Like, hey, you know who he is. Hey, you'll see him. You'll be like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's in there having a pint next to Ken, and they're having a little bit of a conversation. Ray barges in and talks about all this blow that he has, and he's like,
that he's already taken.
He's like, you got 5 grams of blow, and he's like, well, I've got 1 in me and 4 on me, like. And so he says to Jimmy, is like, hey, who Jimmy is with a prostitute, is found out, and they're like, hey, you wanna go do a bunch of blow? And so the next thing you know, the dwarf and the prostitute and Ken and Ray are doing a bunch of blow and having deep conversation. And Jimmy
reveals himself to be a racist.
A little bit. Yeah. He's talking about like how there's going to be a war between the whites and the blacks, and all the white midgets are going to be against all the black midgets, and basically, and they're asking like, what about the Koreans?
Yeah,
like, they're going to fight with the
Ray's just giving a fucking hard time the whole time.
He doesn't even want the Vietnamese.
But there's a really
Ray. I feel like he watched like a 5-minute documentary on the Vietnam War. I think
no, it comes up like 3 times in the movie. It's so good.
For sure.
He's like,
it pairs well with his obsession.
He's like, well, the Vietnamese are fighting with the blacks, and I'm totally fighting with the blacks.
Shit.
Which, by the way, the Canadian in the restaurant, we had a conversation a few weeks back about the most punchable face, and that was my pick at the time. That dude, he's in like a million fucking movies, but every time, like,
he's in several. He might be in all of.
See if you can find a movie with him where he plays a nice person.
Yeah, where he's not a punchable character.
Yeah, where it's just like, oh wow, that guy really saved those kids, or like, like, oh, thank God those puppies survived because of this guy. Anyway, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Punchable face typecasted. That's all this thing's good for.
Yeah. So they have this little racist thing. There's this nice little thing that kind of ends the whole night, where like when he's going on this little racist tirade, and Ken reveals like, I'm a white man. I was married to a black woman who was killed by a white man. Like, where do I stand in this whole war? And he's just, well, I guess you just gotta kind of weigh out your options. And it's like totally like the guy who got caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
It's like the worst response. Like, yeah, fuck. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So after this little episode,
a hint at Harry's character too, and connection to Ken's character. The history there, and like,
there's so much really subtle character building and background.
Oh, there is, for sure. I love that bit of this film for sure. They handle all the subtlest things. Very
and one of the subtle things here is the dwarf asks him, Jimmy asks him like, did they get the guy? And he's like, my friend Harry did.
Yeah,
and like, so
it's just like that.
It kind of builds the bond between him and Harry without Harry not even really appearing on screen at this point.
And once he does, and it's shown, that bond is shown, it's so genuine. Everything makes perfect sense, and like this kind of foreshadowing, character building helps a lot with that. And that's why like the maniacal thing from that fucking synopsis is frustrating, because he's not maniacal at all, really. Like, the character is very like connected to everything. He's not just like going crazy. Just a dude.
So the next thing you know, it's morning. Ray's depressed. he got a hold of a gun somewhere. Oh, where did he get a hold of the gun? Do you guys remember?
Yuri.
Harry had a dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Where did
Oh, he got the gun with the
He
blanks.
found real bullets.
Oh, he found real
Yeah,
bullets
he
to
found
go
real
in the gun
bullets,
with the
yeah.
blank. So he
Yeah.
got real bullets for it, and like he's really struggling with the fact that he killed this kid,
Right.
and he basically is about to attempt suicide, while sneakily behind him, Ken is attempting to murder him.
Yeah.
For,
I
for
actually
his assignment.
that scene when they wake up after the getting shit faced with the hookers and the dwarf, you see Ken leave, shadowed, silhouetted Ken walk out and goes to Ray, and like he's sitting there awake and sheds a tear. Like that was a really good little scene there.
Yeah.
So,
But really interesting scene. Ken, basically, it's from his point of view. He's sneaking up on Ray, who's on a park bench. And he's got the gun in his hand. He's just going to come up behind him and pop him back of the head. But then right as he's getting up close, he realizes that Ray already has a gun in his hand, is about to take his own life. And then his, just kind of natural reaction is to stop him.
yeah.
So fast
Yeah.
he doesn't even think to hide his own.
Yeah. He's still got his gun in his hand with a silencer on it. And so right away, Ray knows what he's like. You're gonna fucking kill me. He's like, no. He's got he's literally got no defense for this.
Yeah,
He said,
not at all.
you got a fucking you got a gun with a silencer on it
Yeah.
behind the dude.
And
he
the
knows what's
following
up.
convejust is great because they're just, they know what it is.
Yeah.
they
and,
just,
yeah.
they just
and
handle
that's
it.
what's
Whatever.
actually kind of nice because a lot of movies don't do this where it's just
Right.
like, you know what? Yeah, all right. This is awkward. Let's sit down and actually talk about what
Yeah.
what transpired
Right.
here.
Instead of going into a gunfight or
Yeah.
run away.
And what's really interesting here is they've somewhere in the whole thick of it all, with them being completely opposite, which one of them being the sightseer and the other one being like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
There's a bond that's been forged here, deeper than previously the two have been together, to where Ken actually kind of gets it to this point where he doesn't want to see Ray die, and he
Right.
thinks he's young. He sees the youth and realizes that there's potential here,
Yeah.
and
And
wants to
so-
see that carried out.
By this point, too, it's, I think, maybe not quite yet, probably by now, it's revealed that it's not one of Ray's jobs. It was his first job
Yes,
that he killed the kid. It wasn't like
it's
he
actually
fucked up
at this-
down the road.
Yeah, it's actually at this point when he's like, "It's my first fucking job. Good, great hitman
Yeah.
I turned out to be."
Yeah.
And he's like, and Ken's like, "Yeah, it's not for everybody,
Right.
Yeah.
I like the comforting the hitman. Like, don't worry, buddy. There'll be other opportunities.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
They immediately start plotting to get
Yeah.
Ray out of town.
yeah, and this is Ken's plan. He puts him on a bus and basically says, "I don't want to know where you're going, but
Yeah.
here you go, get out of here." And
Immediately calls Harry, and that's another illustration.
says,
of
"You
their
hear that
bond.
sound?" He's like, "Yeah, it's a train." He's like, I just put Ray on a train. He's out of here.
Yeah.
I'm here. Come do what you got to do."
Yeah. And this is the first time we actually see Harry's character too. After that, he
Oh, it's
hangs
so
up.
funny.
Yeah, and he trashes his phones,
Yeah.
beating the shit out of his
He
nice
beats
home.
the phone with the desk 13
Yeah,
times.
his family in the other room. He's got a Japanese nanny, and his wife. And his wife comes in. He's just fucking super terrible to her when she
Oh
walks in.
yeah,
As he's
wife walks in and is like,
venting.
"Honey, it's an inanimate fucking object." He's like, "You're an inanimate fucking object."
Yeah.
And then there's a chill down moment where he's like, "I'm sorry, I called
Yeah.
you an inanimate
No, and
fucking
he,
object."
and it's this that he goes in and he tells his kids what's going on. He comforts his kids, and then he comforts his wife, and that's where he's like, again, not maniacal. Like he's fucking super put together in this moment. Like, my bad.
I love their conversation.
Just a living
where he-
gangster, man. These things are gonna come up.
I love this conversation where he's like, "I need to go to Bruges." She's like, "Bruges? What's Bruges?" She's like, "It's a city in Belgium." It's like, for what? And he's like, "It's about Ken." She's like, "Oh, it's not gonna be dangerous." He's like, "It's a matter of honor." It's not gonna be dangerous, is it? Well, it's a matter of honor.
So
Of course, it's gonna be fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
No, his character is the best part of the entire
Yeah,
movie.
it's
He's
super fun.
barely in it, and he probably should have gotten some kind of best supporting actor nod or something.
Yeah, his
He's so good.
interactions with
This-
Ken are just
This movie
fantastic.
actually got me thinking. I never would have thought it before. I never like, because I've had this this inner monologue with myself, like, who is the greatest villain of all time? Like, I've always had this in my mind, and like, I don't think that there's any one performance that you can say that's the greatest villain of all time with Ralph Fiennes, but he has played so many different great villains.
Yeah.
You know, from like, you know, this, you think all the way back to, you know, like Spielberg's, you know, like fucking, Schindler's List. Yeah, like, I mean, like, he's really good at playing the bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also like fantastic as Voldemort. Voldemort is a good villain, and he does it like so well.
Yeah.
He's just
a really good
fantastic.
actor.
Yeah. With fucking a symmetrically off face, which I realized in the scene where he comes to town and talks to Ken. It fucked with me so hard when we were watching it, because I noticed it. Like, his ear and eyes are just offset. They're just offset, and I almost had a fucking aneurysm watching it.
My buddy had a thing with Meg Ryan. Every time he saw Meg Ryan on screen, he was like, "Dude, her fucking left ear is like 3 inches lower than her right. It's really fucking awkward."
It's weird. Yeah. It's frustrating.
But nobody has a symmetrical face.
Not truly, no. As a tattooer, I know that full well. Nobody's symmetrical at all.
But anyway, the scene that John is talking about is when Harry actually gets to Bruges.
I was gonna say, he is definitely the antagonist of the movie. But it's hard to call him a villain.
No, see, that's the thing. All these characters,
they're all villains.
It's a story that everyone's a villain.
Yeah.
None of these guys are good guys, and the resolution.
You know what I like about this, though, John? Because we've talked about this. We've had this conversation many a time. They're all bad people without, like, I still give a shit about all of them.
Yeah, no, they make
You know,
bad
like, there's a
people
way to
very
make a movie
endearing.
about bad people without, like, making me not give a shit, you know?
Yeah, no, you show little bits of their character, and, like, they all have redeeming parts of their character. Like, with Ray, he's just fucking innocent, you know? He's, like, not necessarily, like, the worst. Like, he's not a good guy, but he's, like, innocently a bad guy. And then Ken and
that's like
Harry.
the weird thing. You, like, draw lines. Oh, it's okay, he killed a priest.
Right.
But, like, it's okay, he accidentally killed the boy. Like, you know, it's weird that
No,
like,
it
killing
is.
a child is like, oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Perfect
And that's
for
the
priest. He
big
must have
conversation of this movie is that line and, like, the weird code of ethics that exist in gangster culture. Well, that's what it is. It's a gangster movie. It's a very intelligent and well done gangster movie. That's not just violence, because it just explores what it is to be a gangster in a super eloquent way. Really.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so when Harry gets into town, he goes to the same arms dealer that he sent Ken to, and then this is a scene. So in this scene, we have the arms dealer, as well as the boyfriend of the girl that Ray went out on the date with, who has now a bandage over his eye. And like, so there's this funny scene where I thought it was funny, where Harry is getting the guns and he's like, "This is my inventory." And like he sees, and he's like, fucking Uzi. He's like, what am I gonna kill a bunch of black 10-year-olds in a drive-by? I want a normal gun for a normal person. It's just like, okay.
Yeah. Now, so that is a thing that, like, I almost want to preface this movie with, like, yeah, if you're a sensitive person, like, there's a lot of insensitive shit here. You may get offended.
Yeah, it could happen.
If you can't separate
if you are
it,
offendable,
just make it a film about the characters that would be offensive people. Like, you will get offended.
So, like, this boyfriend with the bandage over his eye is, like, having, like, fights with Ray in his mind. It's just like, fucking twat or whatever.
Yeah.
And Harry looks at the gun dealer and is like, is he talking to me? He's like, no, he's on your side. He had he's like, he had a run-in with your target, you know, and he's just like, oh, and he's like, I tried to rob him, and he took my gun from me, and it only had blanks in it, and he shot a blank in my eye, and the doctor says that I will never see again. He's like, huh. Well, it kind of sounds like it was all your fault. Yeah. He's like, if you try to rob a guy, and you rob a guy with a gun that only has blanks in it, and then allow the gun to be taken from you, and then a blank to be shot in your eye, which I assume you have to be extremely close to him.
That's probably your fucking fault.
It's so good because, like, and they even make mention of it because, like, ultimately, Harry wants this guy dead. But, like, he still is a man of principle. And, like, he's going to call a square a square, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of almost expecting, like, any other movie to be like, oh, you want him dead? Let's team up.
Yeah.
No, you're a fucking twat. I don't want you.
Another thing with Yuri was the alcoves obsession. Yuri is this shady ass gun dealer in Bruges. Yeah, trying to fucking like, oh, if you're gonna kill somebody, you got these alcoves everywhere. You gotta
and that's in the
kill
sit down.
alcoves.
So this all culminates in a sit down, basically in public, with Ken and Harry, and you know, they have the hero versus villain talk, I guess, at this point, even though they're all anti-heroes.
Well, yeah, I mean, Ken is like the closest thing to a person. I mean, again, he's a hitman, so yeah, he kills people, but like in this setting, he's the closest thing to a person of any kind of honor. Yeah, and they're having the conversation, and it's actually really funny. He's just like, "You're a cunt. You've always been a cunt. You know, the only thing that's going to change about you is that you're going to become an even bigger cunt. You're going to have even more cunt kids." And then he's like, "Ah, take that back about my fucking cunt kids. How dare you bring my kids into this, you fucking twat." Like, again,
he's like, "I take it back about your cunt kids."
It's a thing of honor because they're not involved in the situation. He's like, they're just kids. Like,
he's like, "That's overboard, mate."
So all matter honor is very fucking English. It's very old.
He's like, "I took it back, didn't I?"
Yeah.
And basically, they have the same conversation. It's like, "You got to do what you got to do. I'm not fighting you on this." He's like, "I don't know if you want to do it right here." And he's like, "Well, I'm not gonna have a shootout in the middle of fucking all these people." And he's like, "Well, let's go up to this tower
on holiday. Yeah.
Let's go up to this tower. It'd be quieter there." And so they go up to the tower. And that's where we have the funny exchange with the guy, the fucking Nazi that runs.
Yeah, the dipshit at the counter.
The coin Nazi.
Yeah, and he's fucking poking Harry in his fucking forehead, and like everything you know of this guy, you're just like, oh yeah, this guy's fucking dead.
Yeah, that's my favorite part. Is like he's like he tries to sweeten the deal. He's like, "Oh yeah, this is closed today," and he's like, "Oh," and he tries to Harry tries to give him some money. He's like, "It's open for us." And he fucking like wads it up and throws it in his face and pokes him in the chest. He's like, "It is closed today," and like
pokes him in the forehead.
Like Ken's character just kind of gives like the
and he just walks around,
that guy, and he just like steps over the thing and starts walking up the tower, and like it's just like, I know what's gonna happen here is like Harry's just beating this man to death behind him.
Again, it's closed because dude had a heart attack.
Yeah. So basically, Harry and Ken start climbing this tower. They get to the top of the tower, and they're having a conversation about why Ray needs to be let go and all this. But previously, what has been happening is Ray gets kicked off the train that he was put on.
Yeah.
Because the Canadian from the restaurant, also on the train, gets him ejected from the fucking train. They send him back to Bruges. So they actually pass each other. As they're going to the tower, walking to the tower, they actually pass Ray. And neither of them actually notice.
Oh, shit. Nice.
And so, anyway, they get to the top of the tower. There's a little bit of an argument. Where basically they have their guns out.
There's a whole on standoff here. Ken's like resolved to like shoot you in the face, like matter of honor, I'm ready to go, and fucking Harry just isn't gonna have it.
Yeah, and then like Ken puts his gun down. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's just like, "I'm not gonna fight you." It's like, I picked the goddamn guy. It's not that I like there's any issue with me facing you anyway because you're a fucking spaz, but like pick it up, you know. He's like, "Nope, I'm not gonna fight you. You want to kill me?" And he's like, "Well, I can't really fucking kill you." Like, he does the whole thing. It's like the boy had to be given a chance. That's why I had to say fuck you and fuck everything that's been in our history between the two of us. And he's like, "Well, I can't fucking kill you now because you told me that." And then he like shoots him in the leg.
Yeah, pops him in the leg.
Which was really funny. You don't really see it coming.
Yeah.
So I hope you watch the movie before you listen to this podcast.
Right.
So they basically have made up, and they're just going to let bygones be bygones, and they start the grueling descent
very fucking grueling
down these fucking windy ass narrow stairs.
That gives
when the boyfriend, the puff with the skinhead with the eye patch.
Had saw them go in earlier, so he runs up after
Yeah.
seeing is greeted by
Yeah.
Colin Farrell and the girl.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Colin Farrell is still like his
Just
Ray's
talking
character
shit
is
to
just
him.
like, well, no, like in that moment when they're together after getting bailed out and they see him coming, like Ray just like is super friendly, like, hey, how's it going, man? Nice little friendly wave. Still trying to, But yeah, then he runs and informs.
Yeah, so he's running up the stairs as they're starting to walk down, and he's like, "Yeah, the guy you're looking for is at the bar downstairs." And so then there's this immediate standoff between like Ken and Harry, where it's like they're drawing guns and they mean it this time,
Right.
and Ken gets shot in the neck. It looks bad.
Yeah.
Like a Band-Aid's not going to fix
It's
this
not
one.
great.
Yeah, you see an artery start shooting blood out. You
Yeah.
know, it's like it's not good. And so Harry still has to go down the very narrow staircase, which we assume takes a long time.
Yeah. Super. Yeah.
And Ken, basically having accepted his fate at this point, just goes up because there are only a few winds from the top.
Yeah. With gun in tow.
Yep. So he goes to the top of the bell tower and dump some change, as previously mentioned.
Yeah. To warn, nice thing to warn people.
Yeah, to warn people. So he basically jumps off the tower and splats on the ground. And by the way,
It's really well done.
as far as like people jumping off of something and splatting below, it's the best in film history.
Oh, this whole scene is great.
Yeah.
And like when Ray runs up on him after he sees
Yeah.
what's happened,
Yeah, so-
like he's got an arm disconnected
Yeah.
and it looks supernatural.
So like he's just like a blob of like flesh
yeah,
that still has brain activity for a second as he hits the ground and is able to basically warn Ray quickly.
Yeah.
He really.
well, he
Remember,
tries.
he's
He
like-
tries to give him his gun because he
Yeah.
put the gun in his front. My gun's in there, and then Ray fucking pulls it out, and it's just in pieces.
Yeah.
But no, the death scene is very subtle. It was just a tiny performance, but that minute.
I
of
love
him
this
enacting
because
that
I feel
death,
like
thought was
this
really,
is the
really good.
reality of the situation. If you jump off of a really fucking high building to kill yourself, it's like you probably think you jump and that's the last last experience in
Yeah.
your life. But like I feel like it's more like what they captured in this film,
Well-
where like there's gonna be a couple seconds of excruciating
Yeah.
splatter
Yeah.
where you like take your last couple of breaths as like a fucking splat
Right.
on the
Well,
pavement.
unless he didn't nosedive. That's important note
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
If you're gonna jump off a building, like dive off a building
yeah,
head first.
yeah.
You wanna get that done. Because if you don't, you're gonna be a big mess of meat. That's to think about it for a minute. Yeah.
Star.
Uh,
So basically, Ray now is running for his life, and he goes back to the hotel, which is basically the only home that he knows in Bruges.
yeah.
Yep, we always do it. We always say the name of the title without meaning to. So anyway, he's like talking to the hotel manager. Starts to go upstairs, and like Harry is quickly behind him. And
Super fun exchange here.
no, Harry is so good here. He's like, I'm not gonna do, like, because she's obviously pregnant. Like,
Yeah.
we forgot to mention that earlier, but like, he's just like, I'm not gonna do anything. Like, I'm a good person. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, and like, so like, Ray is upstairs, Harry's downstairs, and like, Ray has this idea. He's like, Harry, I got this idea. He's like, Harry's like, I suppose you got a gun up there, and he's like, yep. He's like, let's promise you won't start shooting until this lady is out of here. And she's like, I'm not fucking going anywhere. This is my hotel. He's just like, all right, well, there's this window over here. I'm going to jump out of it into the canal. And you can go out the door and start shooting at me. Go out the door and around the corner, start shooting at me and try to get me from there. And he's like, okay, well, do I take a left or a right? It's fucking right. It's a big fucking canal. You can't miss it. And he's like, all right.
My first fucking time.
I just fucking got here. It's the dialogue. And then like there's a stop and she's like, you guys are fucking crazy. So that happens. And Ray kind of thinks that he got away with one here because he thinks that like
Lands on the boat. Classic boat.
yeah,
At the perfect time.
yeah,
to jump
and he's
on.
like kind of got some distance.
Yeah.
He
loses his gun.
didn't realize that Harry was such a crack shot though.
Very crack shot.
Yeah,
For sure.
And Harry just gets him one like
Yeah.
right in the fucking chest.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But this isn't a hard contact, so Ray's still alive. He's running for his life. And so now it's just a full-out chase down with guns.
Yeah.
And,
Again, so
gun
not
with
again,
gun.
but awful representation for Bruges police. Like terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Where are any of the police?
Yeah.
This is like,
It's the most well-preserved medieval city in
Yeah.
Belgium.
but
they
no
say.
fucking police. Police.
Well,
are
there were no
preserved.
police in the medieval times. It's well-preserved.
Yeah, these guys have been running around. Guy jumped off a building. Like nothing's
I
happened
think
so far.
it's
Several
important.
gunshots.
I think it's important to go back here. So when
You're sticking a little too much to the plot on this one, I think.
yeah, we are. I think I want to go back for a second though, because there was an important part when Harry's character,
There's a lot of fun scenes in this
Yeah.
one.
Harry was talking about like, you know, he killed a kid, he's got to go, kind of a thing. He said that if it had been me and I killed a kid, I would have
Bit
taken
more
the gun out
foreshadowing.
and shot myself right away. No questions asked. I just would have murdered
Shadowy
myself.
movie.
So that was said. So now we're in this chase scene, and they end up on the movie set with the dwarves and whatnot. And basically,
Singular dwarf.
Also, foreshadow the dwarf is gonna die.
Yeah.
all right. Well,
Yeah.
you guys can finish it now that you just ruined.
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No. By all means.
Don't talk about spoiling it. You're talking about the whole movie.
So,
Stop.
okay. Well, if you want to know the rest, you're gonna have to watch the movie.
All right. So, in this awesome, the fantastic crescendo to the music also in this last chase scene,
Yep.
like it starts to take a heavier note, actually some guitar in there, and it ends up they end up going through the set of the presumably final scene in the movie, and Harry takes his shot. It gets him. It does the job, and as soon as Ray falls, you see Jimmy. And it's funny too because more fucking shadowing.
Well,
He took the head exploding bullets.
yep.
Head exploded, so he can't tell that
He's
it's
maniacal. Of course, he took the head exploding bullets.
right?
Dressed up as a school.
Yeah, he's dressed up as a schoolboy, no head. Because I mean,
Yeah.
looking at a dwarf's body, if their head is not present,
Yeah.
you may assume it's a child.
So Harry, being a man of principles, thinks that he murdered a child,
Yeah,
and immediately turns the gun on
and I
himself.
think
and
he
blows
says
him
like
up.
you gotta stand for your principles, or something like that.
Yep, you gotta stick to your principles, and blows his own head off.
That's such like a noble character trait. I think. You know.
It is. I mean,
Sticking to your principles, yeah.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
that degree. He's like he wasn't bluffing. He meant it.
so the
Death penalty for
the thing
murders.
that I would say for like gangsters, like they all acknowledge like you're not doing good things, and like
Yeah.
if so, I would assume I guess not most of the time, but a good fair amount of the time, the gangsters are probably also killing bad people because they're killing other gangsters, right?
Yeah.
So they're just killing a lot of the people they kill. A good say like 40-ish% of the people they're killing, maybe 60 if it swings one way. May just be bad people anyway. So
I don't feel like gangsters are just out murdering random
no,
people.
yeah, that's bad
If
for
they're
business.
killing good people, it's like witnesses.
Exactly. And then it's slaughter.
So then the
And
movie.
then also, it feels like there's some vagueness about why the priest was getting killed. With
Yeah.
the references to child murder and
Yeah.
even there's
No.
Oh, yeah,
No,
exactly, exactly.
The interesting thing I thought about that scene with the priest getting murdered is that he goes into the confessional and confesses his sin before it happens.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like,
that was
I
fun.
killed a man, I murdered a man. He's like, for what? He's like, for money. He's like, well, who'd you kill? And he's like, you. And he shoots him and then accidentally shoots through him to kill the little boy. And the little boy
Oh, the
had been writing notes about his own confession,
Yeah.
and he picks it up and reads it.
being
and
moody,
I
bad
really,
at maths, and being sad.
yeah.
It's like the saddest fucking thing. You see this, I'm sorry for being moody and being bad at maths. Like,
Yeah.
god damn.
Yeah.
It's so sad. And being sad.
So
Oh, you're
anyway,
fucking
the film ends with a very much dying Ray getting loaded onto an ambulance and an inner monologue where he basically says that he wished that he wouldn't have died and that
You hope he's not
and
gonna
that
die.
he basically has learned that hell is being stuck in Bruges for eternity,
Yeah.
which is
I don't want to die.
So
which is
maybe
ultimately his fate.
maybe this is just hell. Maybe he just repeats it over and over again for having
Maybe.
killed the kid.
Yeah, there's somewhat of a purgatory aspect.
Yeah.
To the film.
For sure.
Maybe.
For judgment.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's absolutely, yeah. So yeah, but it was a very satisfying ending because again, none of these guys are good guys, and like this isn't a good situation. So really, like 3 not good people, essentially just killing each other, aside from Jimmy.
Yeah.
Poor guy. All the people that died were like not good people that probably were going to die eventually anyway. So like it felt like a good wrapped up ending, and like it didn't leave. There was no recap, no recount, no go back. Like let's check out 6 months from now. Like you don't need that shit in a story like this. Like just wrap it up, and they did that perfectly.
The American version definitely would be. It fades to black and then
Yeah.
fades back in on Mark Lynch. And
Yeah.
Got a bandage around his chest.
So, Reese, final thoughts on In Bruges? Sorry, I guess you thought we got a little long-winded with this one, but
I just, I don't know if it's always necessary to step through the entire plot.
well, I thought it was important to go back and mention that he had said the thing before he did the thing. I thought that was important. So, final thoughts.
I'd say fuck. This movie, I'm so glad I rewatched it. It had just kind of sunk in the back of my brain. Like, yeah, I guess it's good. Really didn't remember much about it, but it's just all around really, really fantastic. Just top to bottom. Writing, directing, acting, score, cinematography, just like such a good movie.
Yeah, 100%. It's fucking beautiful. I forgot how good of a movie it was. And then it just fucking hit me. Slapped me in the
John,
face.
final thoughts?
Fucking gorgeous film. Gorgeous film. I mean, it hits on like a lot of the levels you could ever ask for a film to hit on. Fantastic pacing, really fantastic performances. A lot of unexpected performances too. A lot of really subtle performances, like when they're in the hotel, like he's getting ready for his date. Just like all the little things, man.
Yeah.
Like it's a film that's very solid through and through on like most all the levels. So, yeah.
I would just say that fuck, this movie is it's beautiful and rewatchable.
Yeah.
And I think McDonough does a great job of showing us the city of Bruges.
Yeah.
Without it seeming like it's like a Travel Channel type of deal. It's like he basically uses the city and the music and the art portion of the film to build the characters.
Yeah. No, it definitely helps.
Which is something
for sure.
that you don't see a lot, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love
No,
that.
it's super unexpected. You look at this film suspecting just your typical English gangster movie, and it's definitely not that. It deals with the subject matter in a much more eloquent way than just your typical action flick. So yeah, it's great. Everybody should watch this.
Yeah, this movie poster is just gets worse and worse.
I know, it's just so stupid. Like he's shooting people while drinking, and Ralph Fiennes' eyes don't they had to try hard for that perspective on that dude's face because that shit doesn't line up like that. It's a very specific camera angle. It's like the camera angle.
All right, so I wanted to quickly go over something.
Yeah. What do we got?
In the spirit of the fact that we had that nice little monologue in the form of a note from the receptionist of Ralph Fiennes' fuck thing. I looked it up. I wanted to know, the word fuck is said a lot in this movie.
Right.
And, being a podcast called Fuck This Movie, that is something we take note of.
For sure.
And I'm much like Samuel L. Jackson being in every movie, I thought this is I was onto something. So I wanted to look it up. Is In Bruges one of the top fuck movies of all time, where fuck is uttered the most times? Sadly, it is not. It does not make the top 100. I don't even think it probably didn't even make the top 200. Yeah. So the word fuck is uttered 126 times, which equates to runtime 107 minutes. It's 1.18 fucks per minute.
Nice.
So
nice.
It is not the fuckiest movie ever. It's just not. So what are the fuckiest movies ever?
I am dying to know.
So I'm just gonna go through a few because the list is crazy.
I'm sure.
There's like an unbelievable amount of Scorsese. So, like for example, American History X. Everybody, I think, knows and loves that movie.
Yeah. Great movie.
214 times.
Yeah.
It's number 63 on the list.
Number 63.
63. If you go up to number 39, we get Pulp Fiction.
Okay. Yeah. That makes
265. But you know what?
Lower than I still
Yeah. One spot higher is Reservoir Dogs, 269. We can go all the way up to number 25.
I think 31.
The Big Lebowski.
I'm shocked Big Lebowski is above Pulp Fiction. And
Right. Yeah.
Oh, it makes sense to me. I've seen the movie more than I've seen any other movie. Number 25 is a movie that I've actually like. I don't know if you guys have seen this movie. I actually really, really like this movie a lot. Made. It's on my list. It could be a feature in the future.
Okay.
Goodfellas, number 21. That's the first Martin Scorsese reference here. A movie. I don't think I ever saw this. End of Watch.
End of Watch.
It's what's his name? Jake Gyllenhaal plays like a cop that gets into some cartel nonsense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
There are
Yeah,
326 instances of the word "fuck" being uttered.
Okay. Yeah.
that movie's probably got a lot of
Yeah.
I
forgot about that movie.
Casino at number 8, another Scorsese movie. Number 6 is Summer of Sam. That's 435 instances of the word "fuck." 435. Yeah, I've seen it. It's been a while. Number 4, 560 instances. You're gonna love this one, John.
560 at number 4. That jumps.
One we've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Uncut Gems, motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh, that
Uncut
actually.
Gems.
See.
Which
Trying too fucking hard.
Which by the way,
That's what that movie's doing.
Which by the way, Uncut Gems. So this list is actually from Wikipedia, and it has like the top 2. Like number 1 is SwearNet the movie, and number 2 is Fuck the documentary.
Okay,
so that's kind of cheating because it's so basically Uncut Gems is number 2.
Okay, what's number 1?
Number 1, another Martin Scorsese movie, The Wolf of Wall Street. Okay. 569 instances of the word "fuck," which is you know is fucked up is that like I've seen that movie 3 times. And I don't remember it being like overwhelming.
It just becomes so natural, just like it's just the dialogue.
Well, the interesting thing is though,
subliminal fucks.
Wolf of Wall Street does have more fucks because it's longer.
It does. So I'm glad you brought that up, Reese. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. So
3.16 fucks.
Yeah. So Uncut Gems is actually the fuckiest movie of all time. There are 4.15 fucks per minute in Uncut Gems.
I'd have to track that. Like how many? Because it's not just Oh,
there is a fuck every 15 seconds in Uncut Gems.
Or I mean, it's it's going to vary.
It's actually faster.
There's going to be minutes or so where there's no fuck, or 5 minutes where there's no fuck, but there's going to be like 80 fucks in like 3 minutes. Fuck. Oh yeah, no, it's so much. It's just angry. That movie is just angry dialogue. That's all it is.
Oh my god,
angry dialogue.
I'm like sad that I'm the only one that haven't. Like I've been putting off watching Uncut Gems because I know that movie. The first time I watch that movie has to be a feature. It has to be. So I don't know. One of you guys are gonna have to pick it, or I'm gonna have to pick it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna have to happen at some point.
It does. It does have to happen. We've alluded to it so much.
I will never watch the movie if we don't pick it.
We're
also like comedy specials on here. I don't feel like I want the list.
No. Like I saw there was like a Martin Lawrence special on there. I'm like, that doesn't count.
No, that doesn't count.
Eddie Murphy's Law.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Of course, there's a bunch of fucking stand-up comedy. Like, duh. Like,
there's a list online that has the top scripted movies, but that list was not podcast friendly, and that like it was one of those that like here's movie 59 and like punch this button to see movie 58, and it's just like I'm not gonna click 60 times, you know, like
It's
to
a
like.
top 10 list, but it's spread over 12 pages. So
Yeah. We're gonna say nonsense. It doesn't mean
Yay, the
anything in
internet.
between. Yeah. Some
All
of those
right.
Internet
I
bullshit.
hate sometimes there's certain like the last voyage of the Demeter was one where like if there's a scene after credits I want to see it but I don't really want to stick around and find out. So you just Google it, and there are always articles. It's like, so you came here to find out if there's an end credits after last voyage of the Demeter. Well, the last voyage of the Demeter came out today, and I guess you're wondering if you have to say it's like just yes or no. Just say yes or no.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, after watching Barbie, I'm like, I didn't understand this character, Reese. And Reese is like, didn't you stay and watch the end credits? I'm like, I did not.
During like all through the credits, it's showing like famous Barbies from history. Like every Barbie and Ken in that movie is based on a real Barbie that came out.
Okay.
Yep, they did not do enough with the first hour and 40 minutes running time to make me give a fuck about staying for the credits. I was ready to go. My wife is ready to go. Actually, my wife thinks you have terrible taste in movies.
That's her problem.
Yeah. She's never met you, really. And she's just like, he thought that was better than Oppenheimer.
I'm looking forward to watching it when it becomes easily available.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, I would assume as much.
I'd see Oppenheimer again. Yeah, I don't feel the need to ever see Barbie again. I don't think it's like. No, I don't think it's good. It's not a good movie, dude. I think Oppenheimer is a biopic, which I don't like rewatching biopics. I think biopics are good, but they're not overly rewatchable. There are very few biopics that I think about rewatching, like JFK, like fucking Lincoln, like any biopic you can think of. There's none of them that stick out to me as ones that like I love rewatching that movie over and over again. It's like it's cool the first time, and like it's more about the like technicality and just the work that goes into mastering each part of history. But
right.
It's not really my thing.
Much more interesting topics and themes in Barbie. The theme of Oppenheimer is basically, was it bad to drop the bomb? You decide.
Yeah.
Really?
Is that what you got from it? I don't think you saw the same movie I saw. Anyway. Anyway, Reese might be out of touch with his own country's history here. It's all right. We'll move on.
I mean, it was
Reese.
like flatly. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know if that could have been the tone or the question. But I mean, the answer is yes. It was very bad. Yes, it was very bad.
Yeah, I heard a guy the other day say, like I thought it was like gonna kind of like end with like when they dropped the bomb. I didn't know it was gonna be about like the shit that the dude had to go through after the fact. It's like, what was the fucking movie called?
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. It wasn't called A-Bomb, the movie.
Yeah.
It was called fucking Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
It's about a dude.
Yeah.
And then he went on with it.
Yeah, exactly. So, Reese, you're up, right? Like, you're choosing the next film and all that for the next episode.
What do we have?
And you always do the what we should go to theaters for. So why don't you just go ahead and tell everybody what they should go to theaters for?
Is there
You can follow
anything
that up with your pick for the next episode.
worth going to theaters for? I don't know.
I mean, Barbie and Oppenheimer are still there.
You said that Talk to Me was good.
Yeah.
Looks like Talk to Me left.
Oh, left already.
But it might be in your theater, so go see Talk to Me.
It might be right like tomorrow. No, yeah, it's out. It's gone.
Gone
Yeah,
for good.
if you still have Talk to Me playing near you, I highly recommend it if you like horror movies. It's really, really well done. The new movies coming out this week are about as bland as you could get. There's The Hill, based on a true story. It looks like it's about baseball. And Retribution, which looks like you could literally, it's Liam Neeson. It could be any Liam Neeson movie from past
Taken 5.
Yeah.
20 years, and it would look exactly the same.
That's
The
fucking.
plot is probably like average American soldier.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
thing. It's
Yeah.
the thing.
Wants revenge.
It's some action / maybe spy movie, ex-spy movie.
It's not a great time for movie.
I have a very specific set of skills.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
Skills that
playing
make
these
it a problem
movies.
for people like you.
I mean, okay, so here's what's playing in Warsaw. On Friday, if you were to
That's
go
Warsaw,
to
Indiana,
go see a
listener.
movie, it's The Hill,
Not Poland.
Retribution, Strays, Blue Beetle, Gran Turismo, The Meg 2,
Ugh.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem,
It's probably the only ones that I would bother
Haunted
going.
Mansion, Barbie, Oppenheimer, and Mission Impossible 6 or 7.
17.
Whichever one it is.
I just want to take a moment. Gran Turismo, based on a true story. I thought it was based on a video game.
It's weird because they're advertising it as both. It's
Okay.
based on a movie, or it's based on a video game and a true story.
Is it based on a guy that played a bunch of Gran Turismo and became a race car driver?
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough.
Is it really? Is that what?
Fair
Is that,
enough.
is that the plot of the movie?
The movie's about a competition that Sony actually held where they got the best players of Gran Turismo to see if their skill translated to actual racing.
This actually happened?
This actually
I
happened.
mean, that's kind of interesting,
Okay,
actually.
I kind of want to see it now.
Okay, so if we don't mind going another like 15 minutes or so, I was actually going to bring this movie, even though I haven't seen it, as my movie to complain about last week.
Oh,
Yeah.
The concept.
you're gonna complain about a movie that you haven't seen?
It's
The concept of the movie.
If you
Okay.
watch this trailer, it looks so bad.
Yeah.
But
Most
I just
do.
made it sound interesting, right? One sentence, and
I mean, so you are talking to like the PlayStation generation here.
Yeah.
Like Gran Turismo for us, like
I
already
didn't
is
like
gonna
Gran
peak.
Turismo, and I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
right? You can make
That game's hard.
You can drop that down to like one or two sentences.
Yeah.
It sounds really interesting.
Right.
But the trailer looks so bad, and that's what I was going to complain about.
Probably like the
movies
average
that have,
racing
like,
movie.
Actually, really interesting premises, and you
Right.
just totally wasted on making it the most
Yeah.
bland shit.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably just looked like some fucking generic ass racing movie in the trailer. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It looks like any other sports movie.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't realize at all that it was that. That's actually.
That's a really.
Yeah, I'd
especially
watch
if
it.
you did kind of like a comedic.
Yeah.
That movie would be great.
Yeah.
But no, it looks really dumb.
So you think it's like all trailer and no substance?
No, the trailer's bad.
The trailer is bad.
So we don't know the
and
substance.
the movie might. All right.
I don't
It
know.
might be good. Right?
I don't know, man. Like sometimes I think the trailers make a movie look really good, and like sometimes I think people buy into it. Like sometimes I think there's a trailer that makes a movie look good, and then I watch the movie, and I think it sucks.
Yeah.
And then everybody that watched the movie is like, "It was so good," and I'm like, "Are you still on like high from the trailer?"
Yeah.
Right.
Like I don't know. And like, oh god, I'm just about to like, I'm gonna open up my personal life to so much skepticism here. I'm gonna throw this movie out here because I know everybody fucking loves it. I thought it was dog shit.
Ooh.
I'm sorry to both of you because I'm sure you both love it because
I
every
don't know.
fucking American loves it.
What?
Donnie Darko is kind of a piece of shit of a movie. I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm
not-
sorry.
I'm not like
It's a better trailer than it is a movie.
So,
it is.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it recently enough to even to defend it at all. I remember really liking the movie. It was one of the first like independent films I had seen, or it was like in the early bits of independent film I had seen. So I remember liking it. But technically I couldn't say yay or nay.
All right.
I know it's like
Maybe I need to revisit it. I've only seen it the one time, but I remember being so excited to watch Donnie Darko, and I had seen the trailer and it looked creepy and weird.
Right.
And
It
like
was
I
just-
watched the movie and I was just like,
It's a dry
eh,
psychological thing, is what it is. It's a dry
Eh.
psychological thing.
yeah. I thought it was more instead of actually being about a thing. I thought it was just trying to be about a thing. But like it worked because so many people love that fucking movie.
Yeah.
That, like I guess it worked.
I don't know.
You were
I
trying to be a
remember.
thing.
So I watched that around the same time I watched Requiem for a Dream, which I remember. Again, I haven't watched in a million years, but I remember that that was a really good movie to me then, and that it gave
Oh,
me.
Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah.
I will say something Gran Turismo has going for it is that it's directed by Neil Blomkamp. You guys know who that is?
Mm-mm. The name is super
enlighten me.
familiar. I think I just
Directed
watched something.
Chappie, Elysium, and
Oh,
That's directed by him?
Okay, that guy.
Oh fuck!
Maybe I'll give it a chance.
All right.
It's not-
Okay.
I mean, I'm already giving it a
Now
chance.
I kind of want to go.
If you guys want to give this a chance, I'll happily. I'm always.
You say that, and I'm already sold.
Hey, what are you doing?
That's weird.
What are you guys doing tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, I have nothing going on.
This could be a thing.
I do
right?
have something
All
tomorrow
right.
night.
Well,
If you want to go see a different movie theaters, I'm open to almost anything.
it's a possibility for. I've got kind of a few things going down tomorrow. My wife is leaving town tomorrow morning, so I'm kind of free, but I also have to brew 3 beers in like a 10-day period. So like, I'm semi available. We'll
Right.
see how it goes. I will hit you
Yeah,
up
no,
tomorrow.
so I was already
I kind
peaked.
of want to go see it now.
I was already peaked at that actually being the premise, than that guy being the director.
Yeah, dude, that dude's awesome.
Which is so like far from
This is
the
probably
other
his
stuff
worst
he's
movie
done.
already. Already, I feel like it's his worst movie.
Well, it could be really. I mean, sure it is, but it could be really interesting. Like if they have a good director like that, it could be good. I
It's
don't know.
literally the first thing he's directed since full length.
Yeah.
He's directed since
That's
Chappie,
fucking
so
interesting as shit. Yeah,
yeah.
because I love that guy to death. I love Chappie. I love
Yeah.
District 9. Those films to me are like
Yeah, it's
beautiful
actually one of the
films.
lowest points moving away from science fiction. 'Cause, like,
Yeah.
So few people do that. But also,
Anywho.
something I just learned, and they did this last year, it was really awesome. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll get to take advantage of much. But August 27th, this coming Sunday, if you're listening to this right now, is
right now.
National Cinema Day. And our theater is doing a promotion, and I'm assuming other theaters will do, where all day long, every movie, every showtime is $4 a ticket.
Really?
Yeah.
Where is this?
This is in North Point, at
Uh-huh.
our local theater. But I
And it's when?
Sunday?
this Sunday.
This Sunday.
Damn it! I'm working.
I'm doing stuff. I happily, I'd go see fucking Strays for $4.
Ugh.
I'd spend the whole day in the theater for $4 a movie.
Talking dogs is only a step below talking babies.
But I would definitely look into that. Look into your local theater. They might be doing a similar thing, and that's such an awesome.
Yeah, no, that is cool. That is cool.
$4. That's more than half price.
All right, so we're rounding out episode number 10.
What do we
Reese,
got?
tell us what is going to be the feature for episode number 11.
So it's down to two things. I want to know: do you guys want to do something very different or really similar to this move to In Bruges?
Oh, I don't know. This is your choice.
Yeah.
I kind of want to watch 44-inch chest.
44-inch
I told
chest.
you guys about this, and it's an awesome character actor cast of Ray Winston, John Hurt, Ian McShane, Tom.
Okay.
Wilkinson,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just it's nothing but British mobsters talking in a house for 2 hours.
Okay,
That's all it is.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sold.
Yeah,
I'm actually
yeah.
excited for
Alright.
this movie. I've you might have mentioned it to me, but
I mentioned it right after In Bruges.
okay, in my mind,
I now know. I now know my pick.
Another mobster?
yes.
Kind of.
Yeah, so we'll go with that. I got it on Blu-ray. If you want to watch it along with us, it looks like it's on Tubi with ads, or you can buy it from all the normal places.
All right.
All right. There we go.
All right.
Exciting
So that's gonna do it, right? We're
I think
done.
so. I think we're
All right.
good. Unless we wanted to
So
shit
on
the
behalf
movie,
of all
but-
of us here from Fuck This Movie, I would like to say fuck you and have a very good night.
Yeah. Tune back in.
Bye.
Peace out.